Wow. 7 planets in Aries. Oh yeah, hello world. It's 4 minutes past 5 UK time on the 15th of April. There's now 7 planets in Aries. Mercury moved into Aries a few hours ago. Moon moved into Aries a couple of hours ago. This is day 1 of 3. 7 planets in Aries. Well, I don't know what you lot are up to, but I know what I'm doing. I am planning and dreaming in lots of interesting futures. So I'm just going to do a minute or so of blatant self-promotion. As loads of you know, I'm organising Shifts Happen this year, and over the 15th to the 18th of May, 3/4 of residential places are now sold out. We're going to be announcing other forms of ticketing around the new moon in a couple of days' time. Watch this space. I also confirmed the astrological retreat I'm running in southern Spain later this year in September. I announced it to people on the wait list about 3 hours ago, and I've already sold a third of all the accommodation, so I'm really pleased with that. That's a week-long retreat in southern Spain in September. And as a result of this, I'm seriously considering booking 2 weeks in Spain next year, in the second week of March and the second week of September, to do another 2 weeks of astrological retreats at this amazingly brilliant, high-class, seriously high-class retreat centre. I know one of my friends, ex-clients, really good friend of mine has got. I put their life savings into it. I'm also potentially doing a week-long retreat to the west of Dublin, somewhere around, not quite sure yet, either early April or mid-June of next year, probably June. And we are going to be provisionally, nowhere near confirmed yet. Let's see how this year's goes. But if it goes all right, then we will be running Shifts Happen one more time next year. All of this will be in the newsletter that I send out to everyone who's on my email database, and that'll be going out sometime in the next, after shifts, because at the moment I am manic. I've had to cancel most of my readings between now and mid-May to focus on events and books, because I've got deadlines. But I will be getting back to the readings from late May onwards, right the way through the summer. So, I am projecting forward big time with a lot of hope and optimism. On the other hand, everyone's telling me, oh my God, the world's going to the dogs. The world's going crazy. Yeah, it is. On the surface. On the surface, look you. On the surface. But look at what else is happening. So many people are hacked off with what is being done allegedly in their name. I have never in my life experienced such a large scale, widespread public discontent with the actions that are being done in our name by leaders who don't represent us at all, are just interested in greed and power. Those old dinosaurs that are rapidly becoming extinct and redundant. Regardless of what's happening on the surface right now, there is a groundswell of public opinion that is approaching tsunami level. And it's not about people getting angry or getting on the streets and rioting. That'll be happening a few times. It's not like that. Let's see where it goes, but hopefully not in the future either. It is about people voting with their conscience. There's some big elections this year in many different countries of the world. And it does seem that people are voting with their feet. And the split between the diehards who either have a vested interest in things remaining the same or are basically just too scared or dumbed down to allow any change into their life, on the one hand, and on the other hand, those who are going, no, this is wrong, not in my name. And now with 7 planets in Aries over the next 60, 72 hours, in everybody's life, in everybody on the planet, over the next 48 to 72 hours, there's going to be at the very minimum a smidgen of thought going on. Where do I stand? What do I think is right? And the only person who's going to be able to answer that is you, and the only person who you have to account to is you. Your judgment, your opinion doesn't leave the privacy of your own mind. But to quote Richard Bach, your conscience is the measure of the honesty of your selfishness. So listen to it carefully. I'm not one for religion. I'm not one for any type of theology or dogma. I have a system of self-knowledge that I know is stronger than all the rest put together. And I know through my own 50 years of direct experience of working with it. And I'm not trying to convert anyone or say to anyone else, you should do what I do. I know what works for me. And one of the tenets that I've realised that comes along with the discipline and the philosophy that I hold is that it is pretty imperative to have as clean a conscience as you possibly can. And none of us are perfect. I find things running through my mind where if I heard myself say them or heard other people say them, I'd think, oh no, that's really bad, that's really wrong. I am certainly not squeaky clean. But I make no pretensions to be. I have my dark side, as does everyone. I'm just more comfortable with it. And yeah, I answer to my own conscience. And 99% of the time, I'm okay with that. And when I'm not, I do something to adjust my thinking. There is rampant disorder on the planet at the moment. Any intelligent species of non-human origin that's orbiting our planet at the moment is going to be looking down on us and going, we don't want to make contact with them. Quick, put a barrier between us and between them and the rest of the universe. The way we treat the environment, the way we treat each other, the way we treat children, women, the disaffected, the disadvantaged, all in the name, basically, of power over and greed, is the undoing of our species. And this has been endemic since communities were formed and priesthoods gained control over them. The original priests were the ones who looked at the poles being stuck in the ground to show the shadow of the sun at midday and realised that, hey, this isn't just about measuring the solstices and the equinoxes. It's also about dividing the periods we live in into measurable factors, at which point they started bringing disciplined order of their making into the world and set themselves up as people of knowledge and wisdom and power. This is the origin of priesthood and religion. And for millennia it's worked. And up until very, very recently, 4 or 5 generations, that's all. Up until those last 4 or 5 generations, we've been working in the fields and leaving it to others to cater for our spiritual needs. But now everyone has their own relationship with the divine. We no longer need intermediaries between ourself and spirit. Which is why I come back once again to conscience, because if we are our own priests and have our own spiritual conduits, then there's no one to give us absolution, no one to give us penance, and I just feel that we're on the point of some type of great accounting. As I age, one of the things that becomes more important to me is legacy. And when I look at some of the so-called figureheads of the world around me, I think, what's their legacy going to be? They're going to be despised, derided, even hated, unfortunately, in ways that even some of the dictators of the last 200 or 300 years haven't been. Because they'll be credited with enough intelligence to realise that they do have the choice in their methods of behaviour. In the past, people were driven by religion or other forms of compulsive dogma or theology. And now we have the choice to realise we don't need to do this, but some people still do. And the newspapers and the television and the internet is full of stories about misogyny, racism, child abuse, predominantly men, I'm sorry to say, imposing their will upon people who they see as subservient. And now we've got 7 planets in Aries, one of the 2 most masculine signs of the whole zodiac. At the Amadown conference a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with Penny Thornton about this, and we agreed that the sign that it's in is actually not that relevant. It's the fact that there's all these planets close together. And if you look at the map on the front of this YouTube video, you'll see that at the time I'm recording this, the Moon and Mercury and Mars and Saturn and Neptune are all within 6 degrees of each other. So, I'm not going to rant on much longer because I haven't got a strong attention span, and neither have many people. Oh, I just got to say something though. I must have received 30 or 40 emails and loads of comments from people who were delighted that I made the mistake in getting the Pope's year of birth wrong by a decade. There were 1 or 2 people who went, wait a minute, look at the astrology. He's talking about the Pope who was born in 1955. He just misspoke with the year. So many of you were so delighted that I got the year wrong. And some of the emails I got was just offensive. I thought, what is it about people who take pleasure in other people's misfortunes? I don't understand that. Anyway, I digress. Right now, and over the next 12 to 15 hours, there is a massive conjunction of 5 planets within 6 degrees, followed in 2 days' time by the new moon, where there'll be 4 planets within 5 degrees and 3 planets within 1 degree. 4 planets within 5 degrees and 3 planets within 1 degree. Followed shortly after, on the 21st, by 3 planets in exactly the same degree. So it's the 15th now. We're in the maelstrom. We're in the pit. This is it. The next 3 to 6 days. I'm not suggesting there's going to be life-shattering or life-changing circumstances, either individually or globally. I am suggesting that the potential for us all individually to make choices and decisions for ourselves about what is really happening on this planet, who we really are, and where we stand individually, and how we're going to make a difference in our own lives and thus send a ripple effect out into the world. So over this next 6 days, if you're at all interested in astrological, oh God, I don't want to use the word salvation, in an upgrade, astrologically, this next 6 days is a wonderful time for you to walk your own talk, to live life according to your own truths, beliefs and philosophies. Speak your truth quietly, assuredly, strongly. Be classic Aries. Be projective and assertive without being confrontational and aggressive. And don't dive in head first. Right, I'll be broadcasting a lot in this next 5 or 6 days. So you're going to be sick of the sight of me. Catch you later, world. Bye.